Dear friends of the Gyeonggi Philharmonic Orchestra, welcome back to our appointment introducing what is going to be the next concert of the Gyeonggi Philharmonic Orchestra and myself. And I have the honor today and the joy to introduce to you our wonderful principal cello of the orchestra, Yurhee. And together with me, again, the wonderful company of Narah, who is our assistant conductor, of course. And I would like to start with Yurhee, of course, because it's really a great joy to have her here with us today. You have done such an incredible job 1 year ago when we played the Brahms Concerto No. 2, showing this wonderful melody that you were playing in such a warm and intense way. How do you remember that moment?
I remember you made me feel really comfortable with your gentle guidance and very sensitive support. And also I felt your clear musical idea at the time, so I'm very grateful.
Thank you. It was really, of course, likewise, because we created that feeling together. We have done already a lot of Brahms lately, right? And also you and Narah have experimented together with us, also conducting the orchestra with the same repertoire in other concerts. Do you feel that the way that we are approaching now Brahms, it has influenced also the way in which we have done particularly that movement of the concerto?
Of course, because I have played the solo many times, but especially this time, I felt really I could just sing through the instrument without pushing or pressuring the instrument. So I think the outcome came out better.
Yes, the deal for us is to try to treat this symphonic huge work as chamber music anyway, in which it's possible to take out all the middle voices, all the possible expression that there are inside. And of course, we are insisting with these words that our friends already heard so many times: transparency, phrasing, care of the phrasing, and all the details that are inside the score. We look like completely fool about these kind of things, but this is what it makes a difference, actually. And I have to tell you, really, I felt an incredibly emotion while you were thinking. I keep remembering that, and I'm sure that our friends just listening to that can really felt the same sensation. We have you here not only because you are the principal cello of the orchestra, but because it's particularly attached to the nowadays presentation that we are doing, the concert that we are doing on the 27th and on the 28th of February has present one of the main cello concertos in the worldwide panorama of this instrument, Dvorak cello concerto. What would you like to say just to introduce this wonderful work?
The Dvorak cello concerto must be arguably it's the best cello concerto ever written, and technically speaking, it's very cellistically written. So there's not much hardship or awkwardness in the concerto itself. And then Dvorak set the highest standard, so all the other concertos to follow. And yes.
So you mean that despite the fact that it sounds so difficult, I mean, just for people that are listening to it, but you are saying because it's so well written, it is actually not that difficult as we can imagine, or no?
I'm saying if the soloist is with the right orchestra who can be very sensitive and then support the soloist without covering throughout the 3 movements of labor. So that's
you already underlined one of the fear that Dvorak had about on writing a cello concerto. As we know, the cello concerto was written between 1894 and 1895. No, And as we know, 30 years before, 1865, he already tried. The young Dvorak tried to write a cello concerto, but practically the only score that was not score. The vocal score was done practically, piano and cello, but he never orchestrated, probably for the reason you said.
Yes, he thought the high register of the cello has nasal sound.
Okay.
And
Nasal sound.
and mumbling bass. Sometimes it's true.
Okay.
Yes, depends on the player and the instrument.
Of course.
Yes, but I'm glad he decided to write.
Oh yes.
After he heard Victor Herbert's second concerto, he decided to write one for him.
During the 3 years in which he was in New York as a director of the conservatory.
So I'm very thankful to the Victor Herbert.
If I remember well, he heard the second one, played by himself.
Victor Herbert? Yes, he was a cellist and composer.
Exactly. By the way, he was the cellist who played the year before, 93, the first performance of New World Symphony, and he was the principal cello there. And if I remember well, I read it that the second movement of his concerto is in B minor. Do you think that influenced also the tonality for the Dvorak writing of the concerto, probably?
Yeah, it is written in the letters. Yeah, he was very influenced by the B minor.
Then there is, of course, the other topic that we should mention for our friends, which is connected to the mood, the mood, the Stimmung in German, of this concerto. It has some sunny and light pages, stormily also, but also from the beginning we can feel a kind of melancholy, a kind of sadness, with the clarinet and the flute and so on. And do you think this is connected also to this thing that we read it, of course, connected to the fact that this concerto was in some way dedicated to Josefina Kocinova, the sister-in-law of Dvorak?
Yes, I think it is definitely connected to yes, because he quoted one of her favorite songs.
Yeah.
Among
what was it? Lass mich allein.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. Or maybe better translation can be Let me be alone, maybe. It sounds better. Lass mich allein. Yeah. Part of this quotation, which is in the second movement, by the way, exactly, but interesting to underline the fact that there is a second editing, which is the concerto as we know nowadays, which he did after he came back from New York to Prague. And he put the same quote also in the third movement at the end, when after this kind of dance, the concerto goes back to a very slowly moment with this beautiful moment in which there is like a love duet between the cello and the violin solo. So this is really like a singing love duet between soprano and baritone, in this case, not a tenor, because it's the cello. And repeating the quote of the song, so it's definitely underlying this concept. What about Daniel Müller? Our guest.
Well, yeah, I really think his sound has so much power and intensity, just right for the Dvorak. And then also, but he also brings out this emotional depth from the music, which I love about. And then I'm very much looking forward to the first rehearsal.
I guess all your colleagues.
I'm sure, yes.
No, it's great to have soloists like that. Don't you think that, Narah? It's really very important for the orchestra.
I heard him many times, and this unity, this unification with orchestra and the solo, it was really hard.
I can tell you by my personal experience, because I know Daniel, we played together, and last time was with Prokofiev, Symphony Concertante, and it was just fantastic. The sensation that you have playing with him is to make chamber music
exactly,
with him.
Exactly.
is able, with his connection, just with his, first of all, is a fantastic colleague, not only an incredible player, but a fantastic colleague, really full of humanity. And I remember the exchange of our eyes contact was enough for us to make up the warmth of the music that we were getting out. So I'm personally, of course, very much looking forward to having him back to play with me, and really so happy that he accepted this opportunity too. Would you like to say something about the second piece of this concert, which, let's remember, it will be done the 27th of February at the Goyam Aram Nuri, and on the 28th of February at the Lotte Hall. We chose Sibelius' Fifth Symphony. So, not such an easy work, right?
Very, very. For me, it was a really, really new, because as I studied conducting, I only studied 1, 2, and 7,
okay.
Not fifth. So I listened to it a week ago, a couple of days ago. I listened to it and over. And as I heard it, it was really, really gigantic, very, how should I say, sensational. For the listeners, it would be really, really something
I think so. There are two main reasons why I choose this piece as a combination. The first reason is that, like Dvorak, represent this example of composer inside this aspect of the national composers who tried to get the best from the popular music and to make it, to represent it in a fresh way, using it and merging this kind of style together with the German style of the symphonic ideas. As Dvorak has done in the Bohemian world, Sibelius has done in the Scandinavian world, as a Finnish composer. As many other composers, we know perfectly that other composers used really the melody, the folk melody, to compose entire movements. No, it's more like the smell, the perfume of what is popular, in order anyway to adjust it to what the classical German, let's say, way to think about the symphonic form is done. This is one of the reasons that put the two of them in common. But the second reason is that inside this symphony there are the same moods that I find in the Dvorak cello concerto. This mixture of very powerful and lighty moments with so melancholic and nostalgic moments. Think about the theme that starts with the horns and then the cello of the third movement. It's so full of emotion. It's not happiness, it's not sadness, it's something melancholic, no? These kind of images. And I thought that this was really going very well together. Is it the first time for the orchestra?
I think so.
Good. So we feel all very challenges about that. Narah, the last thing. What about your appointments?
I have I have 3 appointments. I have 3 concerts in January. 11th here in Gyeonggi Arts Center. 12th in Lotte. And 18th we have a concert in Jeonju. It's a city in south. We are doing a concert with singers. Leha, Lustige Vipe.
It's like a New Year's
concert. New Year's
concert.
Yeah. So
good.
Everybody can feel it's
fantastic.
New Year.
So I wish you toi for that, first of all. Yurhee, thank you so much for your presence. It really puts light here in this appointment, and we hope to have you back, of course, also in some of the next one. We will always try from now on to bring every time members of the orchestra to try to share with our friends all the joy that we have to work together. Thank you very much, and as always, come all of you to our concert. Thank you again. Bye-bye.